So based on the previous video, I asked a few questions. What are the doubts? So this keyword is used as the instant variable. So where the variable is unknown here. So if I give name inside it, it doesn't know to where to find that. So if I give a name as just not as a parameter with the adding with the object, so it knows where to call that parameter. So if I give object with the name, so it calls that a particular so it is called as an instance variable. So for the keyword we use this here as a current object for this. So getter and setter is nothing but getter is to read the value and setter is to write the value. Basically it comes under the encapsulation field. So here encapsulation is used by the keyword private, which is nothing but keeps the data hidden unless it is accessed by public. So if I give the validation, the for the correct validation only it takes up the value. So if it is not correct validation, the value will remain private unless it is recognized. So validation only allows to read and set the value. So by this it reads the value and sets the value. So the basically advantages is it can validate data before assigning. So after that extends is used here. So extends is nothing but while class animals is there, I want to also add this barking also, but I want to call each object each time when I require. So for that I create a separate class for that. So to come under the both circumstances I use extends here, so that the dog class also connected with the animal. This process is known as inheritance. This is known as child class and this is known as parent class. So the child class properties, that means fields and methods, are inherited to the parent also. So when we call parent, the child is also can be, you know. So here child parameter is given and object has been created. So while calling parent class also and child class also, their own method returns here. So in overloading, the data type here we return no, the it works only according to its type. So here I gave a integer type, so it comes only in the integer type only. So if I give a double value here, so it goes to the double value only. So according to the respective type it goes and compiles and gives or else the compiler won't run at starts itself, and after seeing the incorrect values it won't run and not produces the value. So method overloading depends on method signature, that means the perfect entry point exists or not. So here I ask for why class is vehicle and object is been car, but there are two different classes here. So they refer that uh, parent class can hold a child's objects. So when actual method called, that is object oriented, not the reference type. So here I call the car off. So here drive is only comes, so only the drive option will be I can able to get. So if I want to get this value, I have to write other values for it. Instead of car I should create a new of vehicle of, so that it calls this vehicle type. So if I give car, so it calls only the car's message. Actually the actual method only it calls, not the class value it calls. So class value is just linked with the child child inheritance. So this is parents, this is child one. So why we are using is to not to be on a strict basis. It allows flexibility, so that I can write a parent class and child object also. So after that I ask for what is implementation. Implementation is nothing but when we make a function to call, it shows only the entry point, not the internal arguments which are happening. So that is the basic simple things. So this is how of what to do. That means I if I make a call, I just want to speak with the other person, not the behind process it happens behind. So connecting to tower, sending signals is not not my cup of tea. So only to get the idea I should work for it. So implementations is nothing but the actual code or logic of something works. That means it hides this logic from the user. As I said, the example of a speaking phone call to the user, it only connects to pass the information, not the behind process how it works. So implementation it works on an abstraction, and abstract is nothing but a class declared with the abstract keyword. So here abstract is uh, to be the particular like similar to static, it is particularly mentioned for one thing. So abstract methods doesn't have no body, and normal methods also can they have body. But here what I am trying to say is if I mention abstract here, only uh, the child the child class can implement this function. Here I show so here child class only has the option of calling the function. So it is connected with the parent class. So abstract here not used. So by this I can easily able to get the output. So if I give a draw also, it comes here only. So before Java 8 there is no only method declarations. So after Java 8 there comes the default and static methods. A class implements an intersurface to support multiple inheritance. So if I don't use implement and intersurface, it doesn't support multiple inheritance. So like that the vehicle is related to car, the same example here, and this is the summary of each line. Abstract is partial implementation, interface is pure contract, implementing detail is actual hidden logic. So but used to when classes. So classes when shares the common code, and the children's method also be enforced with it. In that time we use the abstract class. So here common code has been this is a shape has been mentioned, but methods has to be called for this. So keyword is draw to be implemented by child, then only it works. So here default and static methods are there. So instead of class we are writing here interface to support multiple inheritance. So if I don't use interface and a class, I use extend here. So in the type also the class can be connected, but here multiple inheritance is to be used, so I use interface here and implements over here. So as I mentioned, private is nothing but the access modifier which restricts the other function calls or methods or constructs or variables in it. So basically it's data hiding, that is encapsulation, um, useful for bank account information. So here the keyword is given, only public can able to read to enter into private. So this is the entry point for main. So here I give a bank account of if I give balance to be updated, I just simply just cannot update the balance to be 5000. So instead of this, I should call the public access modifier. For that I should use that public function deposit over here. So I use deposit over here. So when I give the value, it checks for the validation. If the validation is correct, it goes to the balance of, so balance it calls here. So when calling the balance, return balance, it shows 1000 here. So 1000 plus 500 shows me 1500 when I give a bank account dot get balance of. ACC is created with the object of the class to be given, and the get balance is the function over here I mentioned, and this function returns the balance. So balance in that time, it now I have the access to read the private access modifier. So if I not able to read balance, it doesn't have the access to private modifier. So after so if a method is private, it can be called within the class. So here private has been mentioned, and private has a function called a helper. So if I call helper only, this works, but directly I cannot call helper in another class. So this is another class. In another class I have to mention that their public method, that is called process. So if I call that their process, that public will help to read the private access data over there. So it shows I am private here. So in that case I can read their data by that time, not directly from the other class. I can able to read the others private data. So constructors has been private, so by using this private keyword can be used for the constructor. So this is often used in singleton design pattern. So it is used to not a direct object creation from the outside class, only the inside class can be able to call it. So here the public has the access to call the object. So this object calls a singleton. So this now allows the private to be entered, and after this does not reach this line, this comes in the private constructor line. So in that time it shows to return the value. So after getting singleton, it shows the instance value. So the instance here checks, so it returns as true here. So if I directly call the object from other class, it doesn't allow me to call because it has been a other class private constructor. So I have to call their public constructor. So for that I use a get instance of, so it reads here and reads and gets the private singleton constructor. So if this private single construction allows, only then the returned instance will be able to enter the value in the S1. Otherwise it doesn't allow me to the private of a singleton constructor, and it doesn't allow me to return over here. So these are the comparisons of the other parts, private, default, protected and public. Public is available to all of it. So protected is also similar, but only other class is not able to be inherited. So default is also similar to it, but different packages and other classes cannot be able to access it. Private is only the same class able to operate it, and the remaining adult not able to operate it. So here are the examples. Private, here the same class only able to access, and default over here it shows not outside the package. So here package differs according to the classes, and here protected is nothing but accessible within the same package. Here pack 1, here pack 2. So within the same package only I can able to access the value. So public is accessible everywhere, no restrictions for that. So I asked a question, void method is already used, why again in? So if I want to call different objects for the value, so I have to give different methods for it. So for different methods different class has been used, so each object has been mentioned for each method. So method in A is differ from method in B. That's the key idea. This is basically nothing but without inheritance. So I call different methods for it. So if I use inheritance, I don't need the value of object over here. So basically one method is enough, because both are automatically inherited. So by extends option, class A is inherited to class B. So there is no requirement for two different objects here. So there is no need to override. Parents method can be reused here. So it is the overriding method. So in overriding method, the last mentioned method only runs. So here class A reference has been given, but function call is in B, so it gives priorities to B class only. So in B class there is method in B only, so the child version only takes the major priority over here. But both has been inherited, but when according to take the value, it takes only the class B's void method, not class A's method. So that's it for today. Thank you.